Hey guys! Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some stories and research and carbs, and I had a lot of scientific articles. Again, I have to slow myself down a lot of times because I get a little crazy with the articles and the research because I love it, but some people don't. So I have to keep that in check a little bit, and I'll share some just as links in the group, but I won't get in depth on the videos. And then if you guys want more information, you can reach out to me as well. Okay. So what I'm going to say first is a lot of times, you know, we've been trained to think that carbs are the enemy. Oh my gosh, carbs make me fat. Carbs are terrible. I hate carbs. Well, guess what? Your body is designed to run on carbs. It is your body's preferred energy source. Our bodies are well-oiled machines, okay? God is not going to create us as these amazing beings whose bodies are designed to run on carbs and prefer carbs, but carbs make us fat, and carbs make us unhealthy, and carbs cause disease. And we're supposed to be getting our energy from this over here, not carbs. No, we're not going to be designed this way, and our bodies are not going to prefer carbs as an energy source, the first energy source, if that were the case. Now, carbs can make you fat, but it's the processed carbs, okay? It's the cookies, the cakes, the pizzas, all that junk food that is completely stripped of fiber, completely stripped of nutritional value, and loaded with added sugars and fat. And so what happens is your body's eating it, or you're eating it. Your body's not registering it because it was created in a lab and it's not food, and there's no fiber to keep you full. There's all that added sugar and salt and fat, so you just want more and more and more and more and more, and you're not getting full. You're not satiated because there's no fiber. And so you eat a ton of it, and in turn it makes you fat because you're eating well beyond your calories. You're not being satiated, so you're constantly hungry. So carbs are not the enemy. Whole food carbs are not the enemy. Processed carbs are the enemy. Processed carbs, fats, all that junk food is the enemy, okay? So what I've learned in my journey here with a whole food plant-based diet is just to use my common sense and think, what have people been eating for thousands of years? Thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, people didn't have labs to manufacture food. They didn't. They ate what was available to them, and what was available to them was what was grown from the ground. They had potatoes, they had rice, they had wheat, they had beans. They even had some animal products, I'm sure, but their animal products were different than ours. Ours have carcinogens in them now. They have added hormones. I mean, even chicken has carcinogens. Even grass-fed, things that we think are healthy, have crap in them. And they discuss this in the What the Health documentary in more detail. So I highly recommend you watch the documentary, especially if you want more information on that. But that's where we have an issue. So if we think of just use our common sense, and I understand that it's hard. I understand because we're inundated all the time with, oh, this diet and oh, lose 50 pounds overnight and blah, blah, blah. And when you're in a situation where you really want to lose weight, that's your first thought. And because us humans have grown up on this type of food, that's what we want. That's what we crave. We don't want to change the way that we're eating. We like the taste of that. We like the sugars. We like the fat. That's just what our taste buds have been trained to want. So however we can lose weight without changing that, that's what we want to do. Well, we have to change that thinking and think of, okay, yeah, weight loss is great, but if you're healthy from the inside out, if you make that your focus, weight loss will come. Your body's not going to be healthy and whole on the inside, and you're not, and you be obese. It's not going to happen. Your body's going to regulate your weight. It's going to get to a happy weight for you because it's healthy on the inside. Okay, but if you're feeding it this crap, but you know you're within calories or whatever, kind of like what I discussed in my other video, you know, you might lose weight, but you might not be healthy on the inside. So you just have to use a little common sense. Think about what people have been eating for so many years up until modern society, where we've had this manufactured stuff. And I promise you, If you try this way of eating and you eliminate those added sugars and fats and processed crap from your diet, food is going to taste heavenly. Because when we have those added sugars, they are so insanely sweet. And I'm sure you're like this too, because I was. Fruit and vegetables didn't taste good. They tasted so bland. Even fruit that has sugar in it, I'm like, I don't, like, some of them are okay, but if I could have this or a cookie, I'm gonna have a cookie because it's sweeter and I like it because that's what my taste buds want, right? Well, after eliminating that stuff from my diet, fruit tastes incredible. I crave fruit over anything else now. It is insane, and I eat a ton of it. And no problems. But your taste buds will change. They will get used to not having that crap, you know, altering them. So you might not like the taste of fruit and veggies now, but I promise you, when you start eating cleaner and you start eating more whole foods and eliminating the added sugars and fats and things like that, your taste buds will grow to love this stuff. And you're gonna feel great, so it's awesome. Okay, so why do we eliminate animal products and keep our diet lower fat on a whole food plant-based lifestyle? Animal products, meats, you know, dairies, cheeses, all that stuff, you know, milks, cheeses, whatever, is loaded with saturated fats and cholesterol, okay? They also have zero fiber, so you can eat a ton of it. It does have protein, which does help satiate you a little bit, but it's got zero fiber and a ton of saturated fat and cholesterol. And this is so, so huge for people who have heart problems. So if you have heart problems, please listen up, because saturated fats and cholesterol clog your arteries. They cause heart problems. They will. And if you have that in your family already and you eat a ton of animal products, I mean, it's inevitable that you're going to have issues. It is. Even if you don't have that gene, you eat a ton of animal products, your chances of having heart issues go way up, okay? Now, your body does have a level of cholesterol in it naturally, but having added cholesterol causes issues. And, you know, there are some fats, you know, even healthy fats that can have a small amount of saturated fat, which is why we try to keep it the 80-10-10 like I discussed. You know, when you're having 10% fat, you're not eating an abundance of nuts and seeds and avocados, you're having them sparingly, and those aren't loaded with saturated fats like processed fats, but that's still, you know, you still could get some, and that would keep that in check, okay? So I was gonna share a story with you too on heart disease, but a study from Harvard Health states that a diet that is plant-based, oil-free, and emphasizes veggies, fruits, whole grains, and legumes may slow down and even reverse heart disease. Reverse it. Not just slow it down a little bit, you know, it's gonna grow, but it's just gonna, you know, keep it in check for a minute and, you know, slow down the pace. No, it can. I mean, it just depends how involved in the whole food plant-based lifestyle you are, but it can also reverse it. And obviously every individual is different, but there are numerous studies that show people who have heart disease reverse it on this diet. It is so, so incredible. It kind of brings tears to my eyes. Honestly, when I read these stories and just think about it, it's like your body is like thanking you when it does. It's like, thank you. You're finally feeding me what I need to be healthy, and I'm going to work for you now because you're working for me. You kind of have to think of your body like your best friend. You know, like, I'm kind of weird where I'll talk to mine and, you know, like, oh, you know, thanks for working hard for me today. And, you know, we're a team. And I know that sounds freaking ridiculous, but it kind of gives me that sense of, I care about you. You know, you have to think about it like your best friend, because are you going to, like, go up and, you know, shoot your best friend in the head? No. And I'm not going to shoot my body. Well, that might sound weird. I'm not going to kill my body by feeding it junk, right? Just like you're not going to go kill your best friend. You have to care about your body and what you're putting into it. And if that helps you do that, then, you know, do it. That's what I do. I know that sounds crazy, but it really does help. Okay, so I'm going to share this story with you on heart disease. And it's a longer story. I'll just kind of give you the gist of it. I'll share the full story in the comments, or just as a link on the page if you want to read the whole thing. So it's Doug Schmidt, and he was 49 years old, and it was Memorial Day weekend. He doubled over from a pain in his chest, And after he was rushed to the hospital, they said he had a blockage in his left anterior descending artery, also called the widowmaker, and they put in a stent. And so what his doctor recommended, he said, cut it back to 4 eggs per week and stick to lean meats. Okay? And what's big on this, and a lot of people don't know, is doctors, family physicians and things like that, they are not given a lot of nutritional training. That is not a focus in medical school. It's not. So be aware of that your doctor is not necessarily going to know anything about nutrition. And if so, it's very little. And it might be things just like you and I here. You know what I mean? So that's what his doctor told him. And luckily for this guy, he took matters into his own hands. He found the Dr. Esselstyn, Caldwell Esselstyn, who is a huge doctor in the plant-based community, very, very big, and he has done a ton of research on preventing and reversing heart disease. So Doug found him, and he liked the approach, but he was a little nervous to go all in. So he ate some more whole foods, but still kept some animal products in, and he thought that would be okay. Well, apparently not. So in 2009, he had another scare that sent him back to the operating room, and he had 60% blockages, and the doctor said they would have to wait until he got 70% before they put in another stent, which is not very comforting. As he says here, it wasn't very reassuring. So then after that, he was all in. He's like, you know what, screw this, we're going all in. So him and his wife decided to do the whole food plant-based diet, and tried a bunch of different recipes. And he does go on to say it wasn't easy. It's not necessarily hard, but again, each individual is different. But he said altering eating habits ingrained from birth is one of the hardest things to do. And it's true. You eat a certain way, you grow up on mac and cheese, you grow up on processed foods, you don't know any better. You don't know any better. And that's what groups like this are for. That's what research is for, to really help guide us and educate us to make these decisions for our health. So they found a bunch of different recipes that replaced their normal comfort foods. They tried a bunch of different things: Asian, African, Indian, Arab dishes. Obviously, you don't have to get super crazy if you don't want to, super adventurous. You can. I personally now love Indian food. I love Lebanese, which I have for a while, but they cater to this kind of lifestyle very nicely with rice and beans and things like that. But that's when I go out to eat. I eat those foods. I don't make those at home. We make very, very simple dishes. So it's completely up to you. If you love to cook and get crazy with your recipes, go for it. So they like to try a bunch of different recipes. They made a sweet potato wrap with baked falafel and homegrown broccoli sprouts, which sound amazing. Power oats with fruit and or fresh berries. Buddha bowls, which I'm not quite sure what those are. But he said now, 8 years after his second trip to the emergency room, he is off all medications, not even a daily aspirin. He's more than 55 pounds lighter, and he feels like he's found the fountain of youth. He says, I'm the leanest I've been since high school. I have the energy of a teenager. I just finished my second half marathon at age 58. Needless to say, I will be eating this way for the rest of my life, and I hope to live to 100. So that is huge, because there are no diets out there. You can research it, and people, bloggers and things like that, they can say, oh, this way of eating will help you lose weight. They don't have those scientific studies of those ways of eating reversing disease. And this is not the only one. There's a ton of those out there, okay? And it's not even just heart disease and diabetes. People with lupus, asthma, eczema, me, cleared me up. There was a bunch of different ones. Psoriasis, I kind of think that that's similar to eczema. But just different diseases. And I'm going to post a video, too, from Plant-Based News that interviews all these doctors, including Caldwell Esselstyn, I believe. I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. Oh, gosh. It's escaping me. He's another big guy in this field. But where they discuss all the diseases that can be prevented, reversed, and kept in check with this way of eating. Okay, so it also, like I said, helps with diabetes. So there's a story, gotta find it. I got so many of these. I just had it. I swear I did. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is Mark Ramirez. He said a family medical history filled with diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. I'm going to read a little bit more verbatim from here than I did before because it's kind of longer, more of his family history, and I really want you to get a sense of where he was coming from. So, as a young adult, I witnessed my beloved mother battle type 2 diabetes and the complications that came with it. She suffered from kidney failure, vision problems, and heart disease. After 33 years of fighting diabetes, she passed away in April of 2002. Just 2 months later, my oldest brother David passed away from pancreatic cancer. Out of 8 siblings, my sister Jill is the only one who's not been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, but she too has felt its impact personally since she donated one of her kidneys to our mother. My sisters, Carol and Sandra, my brothers Martin and Joe, have all struggled with the disease for years. Just 2 months ago, Joe also suffered a heart attack. Martin suffers terribly. He has had pancreas and kidney transplant, is legally blind, has his right leg amputated, goes to dialysis 3 times a week, and takes 25 medications every day. Mark Ramirez, the guy speaking, I have also struggled with diabetes. I was diagnosed with the disease the same year that it claimed my mom's life. At that time, I began taking 5 different oral medications, including metformin, Januvia for diabetes, simvastatin for high cholesterol, and lisinopril for high blood pressure. Back in 2002, my hemoglobin A1C level was 8.8. The A1C test is a 3-month average of blood sugar levels. The current A1C range for non-diabetic is between 4 and 5.7. So he was 8.8, okay? By September of 2011, my level had risen to 10.5, and that's when my doctor prescribed insulin injections. As my A1C levels rose gradually over the years, I tried to improve my health by dieting, exercising more, and cutting carbs. Unfortunately, these strategies did not stop the progression of diabetes. Later, I learned that carbs are not the enemy. Fat is for diabetes. Eventually, when my doctor told me that I had to begin injecting insulin daily, I felt very frustrated and helpless. I remember asking my doctor if I could ever stop taking the insulin injections. His response was no. This really pissed me off. But hey, what did I expect? My family is filled with diabetics. I'm Latino, and ethnicity with an unusually high percentage of diabetics. For years, I had witnessed my family's intense suffering from diabetes, and I saw myself as destined to walk the same path. In the fall of 2011, my in-laws gave my wife, Kim, and me a copy of Forks Over Knives. It sat in our home for a few months before we watched it. One day, feeling hopeless about my diabetes, we decided to watch it. We also purchased Dr. Neil Barnard's program for reversing diabetes. I love Neil Barnard, by the way. Check him out on YouTube. He's amazing. After which we were so inspired that we decided to give this way of eating a try. It just made sense. On December 3rd of 2011, we began our whole food plant-based diet, and our lives and health have not been the same since. I now follow 3 basic guidelines. I eat no animal products, I eat low-fat foods, and I avoid high glycemic foods, so processed carbohydrates, because fruits, vegetables, legumes, grains, things like that are low glycemic, okay? I enjoy meals like oatmeal with cinnamon and raisins, pasta primavera, bean burritos, veggie subs, veggie burgers, plenty of fruits and vegetables. He says, no, this is not a low-carb diet. In fact, it's mostly complex carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. High-fat foods are. Fat gets in cells and prevents insulin from working properly. In less than 2 months, I was off all my medications. I have been medicine-free for over 3 years. I am proud to say I am no longer diabetic. When I began this journey, I weighed 254. Today I'm at 207, which is what I weighed in the 7th grade. I have learned I had diabetes not because I'm Mexican or because my family is predisposed to the disease. It all comes down to my daily food choices. By replacing nutrient-poor foods with highly nutritious ones, my body has responded positively. I'm happy to report my oldest sister Carol has also eliminated her diabetes medications by switching to a mostly plant-based diet. See, so even mostly plant-based can help you. My wife Kim and I are empowered and liberated by our new whole foods plant-based lifestyle. We feel strong, healthy, and in charge of our lives. In addition, this lifestyle is kinder to animals and better for the environment. We are so thrilled with our experience, we want to shout it from the rooftops. Great. And I love that he added that stuff about fat being the culprit of diabetes. You know, again, I have some research. I've done research in the past. I've heard different things, but I'm not going to get super research specific here unless you want me to. But that fat is the main culprit of diabetes, where a lot of people think it's carbs. So those are just a couple stories. So amazing. And so inspiring just to hear how quickly those things turned around. I mean, gosh, Mark Ramirez, it was a couple of months and he was completely off medications. I mean, if that doesn't tell you your body is turning around for the better and getting on a healthy track, I don't know what does, right? So we just need to not make it so complicated, okay? We need to use our common sense. Think about how people are eating, you know, many years before us, and go back to the basics. Eat your fruits and veggies. Eat your fruits and veggies. We always hear that. It goes in one ear and out the other because nobody wants to do that. But there's so many delicious recipes and that you can try on this lifestyle that you're going to fall in love with, and your taste buds are going to change, and you're going to become addicted to it because you're going to feel so amazing in such a short amount of time. And you're going to drop weight and you're going to be healthy. And, you know, because what's the point of losing all this weight if, you know, you're really not feeding your body what it wants, and you die at a young age and you don't even get to enjoy, you know, really being healthy, you know? You can be thin and very unhealthy and not have that zest for life, that great quality of life, and live for years and years and years, and watch your kids grow up, watch your grandchildren grow up, and just all the things that make life so wonderful. So just don't make it complicated. That's what I'm here for. I don't like to overcomplicate things. Yes, I like the research side because it helps me. When I'm doing something, I need to know the why behind it. I need to know, okay, so this works because of this. Oh, eat my fruits and veggies because it's doing this to me. Don't eat this because this is what it's doing to me. I need that in my head so that every time I go to reach to put something in my mouth, I'm thinking of that constantly. And it really has become effortless. The foods that I crave now are just grab and go. I eat a ton of fruit. I eat a lot of greens, potatoes, you know, rice, quinoa, all this delicious stuff, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think twice. I know that I'm giving my body what it wants. It tastes amazing, and I just feel great. I feel great, and we're simple people. We like simple things, simple recipes, quick. So that's what I'm here for. I'm not one of those people who you'll see some online, you know, you'll YouTube certain things and recipes, and they have a million ingredients and all this time to cook the food and get super fancy, and I'm like, because whenever I've tried that, it comes out tasting like crap. So I am not that kind of person. If you are, more power to you. But if you're like me and you like basic, then you're in the right group, because that is all this is going to be. Basic recipes, introduction to this lifestyle, to hopefully make it easy for you should you choose to continue after this. So this video is getting really long. I apologize. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to share a couple links with you, you know, kind of a trailer, I guess, of the What the Health documentary, some Neil Barnard videos on fat and dairy, and then that, excuse me, that plant-based news video I mentioned where they interviewed a bunch of doctors. And then also this book called Proteinaholic, which is, I don't remember the author's name, but he's a doctor who is interviewed in What the Health, and he talks about how we're proteinaholics. We're so obsessed with protein and getting it from lean meats and all this stuff, and really what it's doing to us. It's actually a really, really good book. So I'll share a couple of those with you too if you want to explore, and that should wrap it up. So tomorrow we're going to be discussing some recipes, finally. So stay tuned. All right, have a good day.